Hey everybody, this is a very special video, so why don't we start it with a little sketch. So, you're really doing this? I can't let it go. It has to be done. It's just another meme, and you hate Twitter anyway. Why waste the time? If I had that kind of mentality, I never would have made you. This was the one thing that made me special, and now you're taking that from me. Don't think of it like that. Think of it as getting some new friends, a class of your own. Do it if you must, but don't pretend for a second that it's for my benefit. Sorry, but I'm an artist. I do what I gotta do. Hey friends! Yep, this is the thing that's happening. It's been quite a while since I've made something based off of a meme online. I believe Agatha is actually the only time I've ever done it. But I was always upset at myself that I let that Bowsette thing go by without adjusting it with one of my figures. So when this new thing popped up, which of course was the ROM hack where they put Amy Rose in the cutscenes in Rouge's place, and it kind of looked adorable, and pretty much that made the internet explode with fan art. I felt, you know what? I think this time I'll participate. After all, this time it's Sonic themed, so I kind of have to, right? You know, don't hold me to that. You can go ahead and make suggestions if there's a cool meme you'd like to see me make a figure of, but don't go asking me to do just about any random thing that pops up. Like, I refused Ugandan Knuckles, and I was not upset that I skipped that one. My choice of base toy was a Mega Construx minifigure. This is one of the female avatars from Destiny. I don't specifically remember the character name. And of course I also used some parts from an actual Amy Rose figure because it is Amy. The cool thing about this particular minifigure is that when you take off those armor bits, you're left with a relatively blank female buck underneath, which is pretty cool. I really like that you can get this with Mega Construx now, as usually, like in the past, their female characters either came in much larger sets or they lacked the same level of articulation that the male figures had. But now, you can just totally buy these minifigures by themselves. For Halo, He-Man, like I said, Destiny, which is what this one is. And they can be easily dismantled for customizing purposes. So, yeah, like these base figures are much cheaper than Sonic figures, and they scale just right. So if it's the right character, I could totally just use these instead of having to hunt down the Jazzwares figures, which are getting increasingly more difficult and expensive to find. Alright, so let's get to the modding. First, I printed out a pair of Rouge's feet from my 3D models that I happen to have, and attached them to the figure's legs. I removed the original feet and the kneecap things to make them a little smoother, and I measured this out so that it would be just the right height for, a Sonic character's leg, measured hip to ankle, and then sculpted everything around to be nice and smooth, including the thigh-high boot, little fold thing, and filling out the ankle so that it doesn't, look like a skinny little twig stuck into a gigantic shoe. I picked a couple of hands from the resin cast fodder that Gitz sent me. One of them was pretty badly deformed with a missing thumb and a huge bubble in the back, but I was able to fill that in with a little bit of extra sculpt, and then stuck them onto the wrist pegs of the original figure's hands, after sanding away the fingers and stuff, so it basically became a flat platform to attach hands to. This would allow me to preserve wrist articulation, and it actually looks pretty good this time. The upper arms, of course, have the little glove cuff sculpted on, and I did sculpt on the bust for the thing. Now this time I made it a little bit smaller because this is Amy wearing Rouge's costume, not actual Rouge. So I know in the mod it's basically Amy's head on Rouge's body, but I'm operating under the theory that Rouge's costume doesn't make your boobs 2 cup sizes bigger. Then I just add a little tail. The head didn't really require that much modification at all. I just had to paint the makeup on, because I did kind of like the idea that, if Amy's gonna wear the costume, she has to accessorize with the proper makeup. And I was actually really happily surprised, but Amy's head goes right onto the ball for the figure's neck joint. It just goes right on there. And it has the perfect amount of friction to not flop around, and it can turn and tilt and all that stuff. So I didn't have to go through any crazy elaborate means to get the head to fit onto this body, which is kind of fun. As for the painting, once again, since this is Amy wearing Rouge's outfit, she's pink instead of Rouge's usual skin tone. And, well, you know, you already saw the body reassembled, so now let's see it reassembled painted. And there we go, Amy Rouge, which is Amy wearing Rouge's outfit. It's actually really fun. I love this figure. It came out fantastic. Yeah, the articulation is all there, meaning that it's actually on par, if not slightly better than a typical Jazzwares figure. I mean, aside from the fact that the ankles don't move, it pretty much has all the articulation you could possibly want. And she's super poseable, and can do all kinds of things, which is really, really cool. So, yeah, for a character that was spawned just from another meme on Twitter, I'm really proud of the way this figure came out. Yep, that is barely the halfway point of this video if you're paying attention, so you know what has to happen, right? I mean, you can't just put Amy Rose in Rouge's outfit and then let it stand at that, because the internet certainly didn't. There was a whole second part to this meme, which of course was Rouge deciding to flip the script and put Amy's costume on, which I find to be even funnier, especially because you think that it's if you think about it, Amy's outfit is actually significantly skimpier than Rouge's. I mean, it covers a lot less. So let's get to this part. Okay, so as you may recall, there was an Amy Rose figure at the beginning of this video, which I had fully dismantled, which if the savvy among you would have figured, why did he fully dismantle it if all he was going to do was take the head and plonk it onto that other body? Well, well, this is what I'm using to make the Rouge Amy, which is what I'm going to dub it. So, of course, I 3D printed up another Rouge the Bat head, and of course, just like last time, I had to do a little bit of fixing for some parts of the print that didn't quite come out properly. I really got to figure out how to make these things print a little bit smoother. But the result is, of course, a perfect Rouge the Bat head made in a relatively short order. And then for the body, I sculpted on Rouge's bust line onto Amy's body, because just like how Amy was going to be a little bit smaller wearing Rouge's costume, Rouge cramming herself into Amy's little dress is going to, let's just say it's going to stretch some fabric. So, yeah, as far as modifications go, that's pretty much it for sculpting for the most part, because that's just how Rouge do. So these are all the parts. Let's get to painting and reassembling. So first thing to do, of course, I could have just reassembled it and stuck Amy's head on if I was lazy, but I most certainly am not. So I actually went and mixed something approximating Rouge's skin tone, which is a bit of a controversy because it varies from like really light to almost orange depending on what game you're playing. And there is official references to Rouge wearing some more revealing outfits, such as her alternate costume from Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, which reveals that, you know, like, does Rouge have any fur aside from what's on her head? Like, it just seems weird that Rouge has, like, no fur. Like, she's, like, isn't that kind of weird? She's, like, the only Mobian character in the Sonic franchise that has, like, no body hair. Like, I think the only way you could have a character that has less fur than Rouge is if you were to introduce a naked mole rat character or something. So, yes, of course that means the legs are also painted in her skin tone. And, when I painted the body, I took that little triangle thing that's the collar, and I just, like, imagined that it would be stretched way out in front, so, you know, that's the whole homage to the much bigger BAPs that are on this figure. And, of course, you gotta stick on some craft foam wings, because you know I'm not gonna forget Rouge's wings. After all, she is a bat and needs them. And this is where Amy's dress actually works really well on Rouge, because Amy's dress is backless, so yeah, it would actually be perfect for Rouge to wear as well, because it wouldn't get in the way of her wings. And so that's Rouge Amy. Being a Jazzwares figure, this is actually more standard custom fare for me because this is, you know, kind of the thing that I've been doing. But I did like that I got to use a Mega Construx figure to make a Sonic character, because that's something that I don't really do all that often. I think the last time I did it really was Agatha. And of course I did use Mega Construx figures to make the articulation points of the fully 3D printed Rouge figure, but, you know, like, this is showing that I can actually use the base buck of a Mega Construx and have a convincing Sonic character come out of it. So that is Rouge the Bat wearing Amy Rose's costume, and she looks surprisingly good in it. Like, that frickin' works for me. Like this looks like something that can actually happen. Costume swaps are fun. Yes, costume swapping is fun, isn't it? You just love to draw one character wearing another character's clothes, and they actually look pretty good next to each other. It looks like Rouge's high heels have made Amy tall enough that she's taller than Rouge, which I find just so amusing. Like, because Rouge always looks tall, but maybe she's not really so tall as it is she's just wearing high heels. And, yeah, so why don't we have a little Amy and Rouge sketch just to finish this up. Hey! Who told you that you could raid my closet? Oh, come on, Rouge. You know I look good in this. Humph. Well, two can play at this game. I'll show you. Wait, what are you planning? Haha, look at me. I'm Amy. I want to marry Sonic, and I pretend to be all sweet and demure despite how easy it is to see my underwear in this skirt. Hey! Oh, wow, is it really that easy to see my panties? Wait, are you telling me that you honestly didn't know? Hey, girls, what's going on? Nope. I am easily amused by my own antics. Well, this has been fun. If you guys see any other memes that you think would make a good custom figure, let me know. But for now, this is Wake Angel 2001, signing off.